We will continue now with the Nave Bible. We move from the Nave Topical Bible to the Nave Study Bible. And this one is like the Thompson in some ways. It does have references on the side. For example, I will show you. But what it does here, it actually shows the verse numbers on the side. So you can see what actual verse it's in. You see the verse numbers right there. And then what's in it. And what that does, it takes that verse and takes you right through what it actually says in other places of the Bible about that subject. And it'll name the subject, for example. So it's like the topical Bible, in that it names the subject in all of those areas. And then it'll show you where to go for the next example of that. And so it goes through all of those things. Now, also, it has notes underneath it as well as the Thompson did. And sometimes these notes are extremely long. For example, if I'm in the book of Deuteronomy, commandments and statutes. Now, what you will find in there is just everything about those kinds of things. In fact, it starts on one page, commandments and statutes, and goes all the way through 2 more pages. Commandments and statutes continue. It's just an amazing kind of note. Now, I'll show you, for example, this is in Deuteronomy, chapter 8, and the end of chapter 7. So, you will see here, there is your Deuteronomy right there. And then you see all this note material underneath. That's not the scripture, that's notes about that scripture. And it's extremely long. It goes from this page, as I said, all the way over to the next page. And to the next page. And it is an extremely long section because it talks about these statutes, for example, the 10 Commandments and the statutes in the way they're looked at in different subjects, like admonishing against, concerning, enjoining, and so on, all the way down through. And it shows you everywhere in Scripture where it's related to these commandments. Now, that's a very, very good section of this Bible, which is extremely long and has side notes all the way through it, which are very helpful. And the other thing about it is, that's very interesting about this, is when you're reading the scripture itself, it will not only have little letters within the scripture, and if you go to verse 8, for example, it has little letters, harden not your hearts, as in the provocation, as in the day of temptation, in the wilderness. This is in the book of Psalms. And then you'll see all along the left-hand side, all of those things about it. For example, harden not your heart. Now, there's an S there, heart. Next, look at Psalms 41, 21, and so on. And everyone, by the way, that's given in here, everything in the Bible has a good introduction to what it's about. Now, there is more than this, but we will not make this too long because just this much in itself makes this study Bible quite fascinating. We will come back to this to do another part soon. Thank you for listening.